Right, everyone, we do these match reactions from time to time and we like to have a plan to know what we're going to chat about. I have no idea how this video is going to go today because that game was absolutely remarkable. We're filming this, about 10 minutes on from full time basically. There's crowds still behind us walking away. It was just an exhilarating end to that game, Stevie.
Yes, I'm not going to... Hi everybody. I'm not going to say how old I am, of course, while we're recording.
55.
I think. But anyway,
of all numbers.
I have seen some mad games at Celtic Park. A lot of great games, a lot of terrible games. That there was just wild. I have written down so many notes here, and about 99% of my notes written down talking with Hamish and Euan about this was just a rant about that performance by us, and then for the last sort of bits of it, it's about how brilliant we are again. But that is what being in a title race is all about. You can have games like that, and as long as you get the win. I mean, psychologically though, well, I guess we'll talk about that part of it later, but I was just massive those last few minutes, man.
Let's do the afternoon chronologically then, Euan. And we... Hello, sorry, I should have introduced you. We kind of have to start with what happened earlier on, and I'm not obviously going to do a blow-by-blow account of what happened in Dingwall, but the fact they had dropped points meant that there was extra buzz in the air. There was extra expectations this afternoon. There was people, I don't know if you guys got this, but on the way into the game, a lot of smiles today, even more so than we've seen
Celtic
recently.
Way was going mad before the game.
On the way in, there was a genuine roar. I think one of the supporters' buses must have had a telly in it.
That was just John McGinley getting off the bus to go to the game.
The man's a legend, but just an absolute roar going into Celtic Park, and that gave everyone a massive lift. But at the same time, you're wondering, like, we cannot, without paraphrasing Steven Gerrard of all people, we cannot let this slip now. But it was a really good mood coming in. It was a really good mood, and I thought whether that translated as pressure for the players, I don't really know. Because the game itself was, I mean, we'll probably get into detail about the game itself, but it was, it definitely added to the atmosphere. I thought there was a real optimism, and it proved correct in the end.
Thoughts on the team, guys? Anything mad you want to say about? You made a few changes.
I was glad to see Liam Scales in the team.
Yes.
I was crying out for Liam Scales physically because I just feel Greg Taylor, and although I do know that Andrew hates him, and I've always said with Greg Taylor, it does bring the balance, as I keep saying. I want to see something different down the left, and I feel Scales really should have been given more of a shot. I wanted to see him on Wednesday, so I'm glad he was back in the day. I was surprised Forrest was still in the team though. I was very surprised that he was starting, especially in the left, and it was no surprise that he was hooked. But they were the two that I was glad to see with Scales. But with Forrest, it was really a big one for him to shut people like me up, and he didn't do it.
Euan, thoughts on the team?
Yeah, I was also glad to see Scales in, but obviously that him and Forrest don't really work as a pairing. I don't think. I think you had Forrest because it wasn't his natural side. He was trying to come in and try to affect play that way. Scales is a naturally sort of central drifting player, so you didn't really have anyone kind of as an outlet ball on that flank, and it didn't really work. But which is a shame because they're two players individually that I really like for obvious reasons, but as a combination, just not quite there yet. Otherwise, I couldn't really complain. Going into this game, I was hoping for a big performance from Nir Bitton. He started. Yakimakis had another opportunity. He started, so I didn't really have any massive complaints. But as Stevie said, I was a wee bit surprised with Forrest, but not surprised in a bad way, not disappointed. But it was fine.
The first half wasn't really fine. I thought we actually started with a decent tempo today. It felt as if the players were almost feeding off the atmosphere, and there was definitely, as I go back to, there was definitely something in the air today after they dropped points. There was something, at kick-off, it was louder than usual. On a side point, I thought the crowd was really good today. I think you were definitely looking at 54, 55 at least, and I thought the players really responded to that early on. I thought we started with a real tempo. We were taking corners quickly, back to that kind of stuff we saw in August, September. And then we just kind of hit a bit of a lull, and we had a couple of chances. I think in the first half the big one was O'Reilly's chance that he scoops past the post, really has to score. Yakimakis had one as well when he was sent through.
Similar
and just dithered.
Great tackle by the Dundee United defender though.
Great tackle, but
he should be, if that's Kyogo, he's already taken that touch.
Or Maida.
And they're putting that away. It's the lack of pace that let us down, and just the final third, especially up front there, Hamish.
How would you sum the first half up?
Lacklustre, I thought. I really thought we were going to be seeing, in the first 10-15 minutes, the players, going for Dundee United, similar to what we saw at Hibs. I expected an early goal just to calm the team down, especially And you saw the atmosphere before the game.
Yeah.
The players would have got that news at Dingwall. They would have been, buzzing after that, and that was a big thing for them as well to keep that pressure on Rangers. And also as well with the Wim Jansen tribute and everything.
Nicely done as well.
Really nice touch as well. But yeah, the crowd were really up for it, and I just felt we didn't get the same type of energy from the players. I thought after the first 20 minutes or so, Hamish. And it was about half an hour or something that I started noticing the way Dundee United played against us, quite similar to what they played in September in the 1-1 game, quite similar to the way they set up as well at Ibrox. They set up to contain and frustrate, and that's what it was like when the first half hour I started thinking, are we going to see another Livingston again? Are we going to see that type of performance? Is it going to be one of these games again? And for the most part, anybody that said it is would have been justified as well, but no, felt frustrated, and it was a pretty lacklustre first half all in all.
Yeah, I thought Matt O'Reilly was probably the exception in that first half. I felt everything good that we did kind of went through him. There was a phase of 4 or 5 minutes when he had 2 or 3 really good balls over the top. I think one to Abada, possibly one to Giakoumakis as well. He looked really lively, and he looks like a real find for me, and I thought he really dug deep in the second half as well. He's you see him in telly, and then when you actually see him in the flesh, you get a different kind of picture. He's a big guy. He's a really big guy, and he kind of gets stuck in as well. He's a good physical presence, and I thought he had a really good game today. Did you feel the goal was coming at half time, or did you have a bit of fear?
I mean, I always have fear. I've got perpetual fear. I'm a very anxious football watcher, but I didn't really massively expect a goal coming. I just didn't think there were a couple of big chances, and as you say, O'Reilly put the ball through. He executed really well, but it's just that lack of end product. I thought and like you said, Stevie, I was kind of hoping for a sort of first half blitz and maybe just sort of ride the second half out the way we've been playing recently. But then we don't get that goal, and you start to, the fear comes in a wee bit.
Yeah, as well. If I can just defend the players, when you look at the energy that we put into the game in midweek, and also we had a depleted squad, so it probably is. I would have liked to have seen us, come flying out the traps, scoring an early goal, but at the same time, the fear of failure and everything creeps into the players as well, and they are only human, so you've got to take that into account as well. And I've seen far better Celtic teams struggle again in these types of games and these types of seasons as well, so I will cut them some slack in that respect. It
was a good atmosphere today, but it was a difficult atmosphere at times. I think James Forrest was getting a lot of stick in the first half. I actually didn't think he had a great game at all, but I think he did have a couple of moments. I mean, he's the one that cuts it back for O'Reilly, and he has to score. So Forrest did have moments. I think I noted Dundee United play with quite a high line actually. They do. As much as they kind of had men behind the ball, at most times today there was space in behind, and we saw that on a few occasions. The subs at half time, now we've not heard Ange's post-match comments. I'm assuming that, judging from the subs he made, given they were both left-hand side, he wasn't happy with what we were doing on the left-hand side. I called the subs at half time, and second half we seemed to start with a bit more intensity early on.
Initially, it was strange to see the kind of the sort of the approach change from Ange. There was a lot kind of coming wider. O'Reilly and Hatate were getting either less of the ball. They were encouraged to move out to channels. A lot of crossing opportunities, but nothing really clear cut. But I think obviously you add Jota to the left hand side of any football team, and I think they improve. I think it's fairly obvious that he was being rested for a wee bit, rested for Wednesday. But the dynamism he brings, this wasn't obviously his best match in green and white, and we'll see a lot better from him, and he's still coming back from an injury and all those caveats apply, but the spark he gives the team, and we just immediately looked more threatening down that flank.
Second half wise, Stevie, what was the take on how the game went? Because I felt at times the team was almost getting a bit affected by the atmosphere here, and there was actually a moment when Ralston went to play in Abada. And I think normally Ralston would have maybe ran with the ball a bit or found a pass inside, and he tried the really ambitious long ball, and Joe Hart and Nir Beaton were actually shouting to him after the ball went out for the goal kick, calm it down here. I looked at the clock and we still had 35 minutes to go. I think the players panicked a little bit in that second half at times. I thought the passing was quite panicky today. I think they felt the expectations of having to win this game today, because let's make no mistake about it, if we hadn't have won that game today, it would have been a disaster, given what happened earlier. Did you think the players panicked at all?
Possibly, but I also felt Dundee United grew in confidence as well.
Right.
I think that was a big part of it. The longer these games go, stay 0-0, the other teams and Dundee United would have been buoyed by that, and I felt there was a lot of confidence creeping into their play. And the fact that as the game went on as well, you started seeing from us like misplaced passes. We were, instead of just doing the simple thing as you were saying with Ralston,
terrible today.
Ralston earlier in the season would have done the simple thing and done it so effectively, and that's why a lot of fans have been really behind them. But he was trying ambitious things that just weren't coming off. I don't know how much that is down to the fact as well that Juranovic has put so much pressure on him in that position now as well. But it just talk about Ralston personally there, but it was the whole team. It wasn't just him. You had Beaton and Hatate as well in the midfield. Nothing was coming off for them. And just in general, I think Dundee United, as much as we can sit here and maybe put down Celtic and criticise, I felt Dundee United really did come onto a game, and tactically for the most part Court's got it spot on, I think.
Yeah,
when you see how much they're struggling in the league, it's a little bit surprising recently, because I think they're a decent team. I've seen them a few times. They weren't great at Tannadice against us, but the 2 times they've come here, they've probably been a couple of the best performances we've seen at Celtic Park in terms of discipline, defending quite well, and they carry an attacking threat when they go forward as well.
They're really, really good at disrupting in the middle. I think they didn't actually miss Fuchs today, which I thought they would. He was excellent at Celtic Park in September. They've had a few personnel changes. They're still very much a team in flux from last season. It's of course his first season as a top flight manager anyway. And they were really compact, but also there was a really good distance between the players. They kept a really good line through each part of their team, and they're well disciplined. And it surprises me that they don't do better against the best of the rest and all that, because on their day they're a very well organised and disciplined team, and they've got Tony Watt now. I think that he's going to add at least 5-10 goals to that team. I think next year they'll be a lot better than they are now, but they've put on 2 really good performances at Celtic Park so far. So from their perspective, they've got nothing to be ashamed of from today.
Yeah, apart from their fans singing cheerio to the Celtic supporters, and then us scoring 30 seconds later. That was amazing. They actually had a good support here, Dundee United. But this isn't the Dundee United YouTube channel, so let's return to Celtic. Same question I asked Euan a minute ago. Second half, did you feel the goal was coming, or did it seem like one of those days when it wasn't?
No, it did. It did not seem like that goal was coming at all. It felt like Livingston all over again.
Because we did have chances.
Yeah, I mean, how Seagrass made that save is beyond me.
What one?
The one I think it hit off his leg and went over the bar.
Right,
second
Giacomakis
half from Gigi.
Yeah.
Incredible save. I mean, when
got to score though, doesn't he?
He does. And we were saying, I mean, I'd noted here that Gigi, for the scrappy games that are battles where you need to dig and be physical, Gigi seems tailor-made for them.
Yeah.
Games like today where it's wide open, we're expected to win. There's big spaces to run in behind. You're not getting anything from him.
Think he's an away game player then?
I think he is, yeah.
Right.
I think that's a perfect way to
Tynecastle,
sum it up.
that kind of thing.
Yeah, Tynecastle. If that was at Tannadice today, for example, Gigi probably would have taken one of the chances. First half, very similar. The ball that was put in, I think Ralston crosses it in, and Gigi misses in the first half as well. It was very similar to his goal at Tynecastle, but I think as well, that overall it wasn't the best of performances for him. He didn't go hiding or anything, which I respect, but expected far better from him too.
I thought his touch was really poor today, and I think it said a lot that when we needed a goal, Ange actually brought him off and put Abada through the middle, and obviously that proved to be a really good decision in the end. I mean, I felt we had chances. I think Starfelt had a header. Gigi had that one you touched on. He had another volley when he kind of chested it, and you're just thinking hit the target at the very least, and he put it wide, and it did seem like one of those days, but thankfully, mercifully, we found a winner in the end. It's Liel Abada, the guy who just seems to score big goals at big times, and it's been a while since I've seen scenes like that inside Celtic Park. It was just, I think it was everything encapsulated in those 20 seconds when we were all going mad. The fact they dropped points, the fact that we're playing them on Wednesday night, the fact it was such a game we had to win today, and obviously the fact it had been such a frustrating evening. I'm just remembering Near Beaton gets sent off. I've somehow forgotten that, so let's touch on that first and then we can get into the goal. For me, Greg Taylor was at fault for a couple of things when he came on today. I didn't think he was great, and as much as it was his mistake that led to Beaton having to pull the guy down for the second yellow, I just think that once again it's Near Beaton getting sent off at a crucial point, and it just happens far too often. I think 3 or 4 times it's happened now.
Beaton's a really strange one because the last 2 games I would say he's been amongst the best players. He's composure. He's had that veteran leadership, especially with Hatate and O'Reilly in front of him. I thought he was fantastic. Excuse me. I thought he was fantastic against Hearts. And today, for large portions of the game, I thought he ran things. I thought he was quite decent, but in the second half, just kind of lost it a bit, and
Panicked.
It's panicking. It's kind of overthinking simple scenarios. It's and Taylor really gets him in trouble there. And it's poor. It's poor in possession. It was needless, is the thing. And if Dundee United had better free kick take, if Mulgrew was playing today, that could have been scary.
I had the fear when that free kick was given because I'm thinking this is going. You know the script and you know it's going in the back of the net. Thankfully, it didn't. I think you pointed out the way we came out, or when we came out there, the fact that that's the second time we've gone down to 10 men and still found a way to win the game.
Yep.
Just talk me through that, the fact Celtic managed somehow to get 3 points today.
It's just total relief, isn't it? I think it was absolute joy when that goal went in. First of all, you're thinking just massive 3 points, but in the bigger scale now, it just means I've got it noted in. Getting into Wednesday's game, we're now going to be so buzzing and point getting into that one, because before that I was actually criticising the team right before that goal. Why did I do this, everyone? I don't know why I bother. But no, I was saying, it was a game that we really couldn't afford to drop points. We had to put pressure on them, and then if we did drop points, I was wondering how are their team going to react against that Rangers side who would just sit in and defend and hit us in the break. That's not possible now. We now have, we've got. I feel the team will go into that game buoyed from that one now, and I think the fans are going to be so behind them for the first minute. I mean, I think we would have been, even if we did drop points today, we would have, but knowing now that we can go top after the shambles of the summer, after these injury crises we've had,
it's amazing.
And after everybody questioning that team in general, having to buy so many players in and just hope they all gelled, putting that all together and now being able to go top is going to be such a psychological boost for this team, and I just hope we can do it.
Yeah, this whole season has been us chasing, and we've not been top at all. We lost the first game of the season, and it's been 6 behind Rangers, and 4, and now 2, and then back to 4, and then back to 6, and then 4, and then back to down to 2, and that's where we're at the moment. Wednesday we have, for me, the first chance to really, whatever phrase you want to use, stick our flag in the ground, say that this is us ready to come and win the league. It's a massive chance. We'll obviously cover this in a big style on the channel before then, but talk me through that winning goal. I thought he'd put it over the bar. I thought he'd skied it, but I was at the other end of the ground.
Well, I tell you what, I was saying to Hamish before we came on, I was so ready to just lay into almost all of our players, talk about how abysmal and dreadful we were in stages there. I would watch all of our sloppy passes again, every time we lose possession, for just that absolute euphoria of that goal going in. It was incredible.
In terms of like football and stuff, there's not many better feelings than a last minute winner. I mean, it's incredible.
As you said, the limbs at Celtic Park, I haven't seen it like that in some time. I mean,
everyone knew how big it was, didn't they?
Yeah. Thinking, off the top of my head, like the first thing comes in.
Lazio.
That's a good shout. See, getting into the game as well in Rangers, it's going in Wednesday. It's going to feel very much like the Ledley one, where
he was here today, and I was thinking that.
That's pretty good,
because we spent all that season playing catch up. Remember, 11-12.
And did we go top that night?
We went top when we won, and we never looked back. And I just hope this team do the same.
And we played Kelly here a few days before, and Rangers dropped points. I think it's St Mirren lost, so the similarities are there, and that's what's there for Celtic today. It's crazy Joe Ledley was here. Liel Abada, we just need to chat about him, because
I love him.
I thought, I've said before, recently I think he's really kicked on. I think he went through a difficult period from maybe September up until Boxing Day. He scored a couple of goals at St Johnstone, and I think since he's come back he's been really good. I thought he was a very good player today. I thought he offered far more than James Forrest in the first half.
Yep.
I thought at times he actually, even in the second half, looked even more likely than Jota. I thought he was getting into really good areas, and it's the most Liel Abada thing. The one thing you would define him by so far is his goal contribution and his assists, but getting that goal and the way he took it was brilliant.
He has been at stages this season absolutely phenomenal, especially for a guy in his debut season who's moved.
He's 20 years old.
He's 20 years old. It's absolutely crazy. If anyone at Celtic is watching this, please pass on. I love you, Liel Abada. I do. I just think he's such a class player, man. And like, it's not the first time as well. He's picked a really, really good moment, a vital moment to make a contribution. I don't remember offhand what his exact numbers are for the season, but he absolutely deserved that. The way he's played the last few games, the amount of effort he puts into winning the ball back from the front, he deserved that moment. And it sums up his season so far for me. Because there have been frustrating periods in that game, like there have been frustrating periods in the season. He pops up with a vital goal at the end. Absolutely deserved.
And I mean, we've touched on the scenes when the goal went in, and the scenes after the game as well. I've actually got a wee clip that I took. Apologies if you can hear me singing Ange Postecoglou at the top of my voice, but here you go. So that was just a sample of what the atmosphere was like today. It just feels like, an absolutely immense victory today. I mean, you saw in that clip the players, you could tell when they walked over to the standing section, they realised it was a big win. Ange clearly realised it's a big win, just with everything, everything that it meant today and the games coming up and just how tight the title race. It feels, dare I say it, like a bit of a defining day today.
Yeah, it's...
Or is that only if we do the business
again,
on Wednesday?
we've got to hope we have to go top first, and then we can talk about this one being crucial.
Yeah.
When it comes to moments in the season that were iconic and defining, as you say. So hopefully we do the business and we kick on. But see, every other time this season, when we, against Ross County, we scored last minute, and everybody was saying after the scenes, well, that'll mean nothing if we don't beat Hibs in the cup. Mm-hmm. We then went for a goal down and beat Hibs in the cup. So this team, what I've noted down is we can't ever write this team off at all. No. There's been a lot of great Celtic teams through the years as I've been going to see, and all when they scores last minute goals, or even when they win without playing well, there's a lot of Celtic sides that do win leagues that it's just a case of never writing them off, and it looks as if that's what we've got with Ange again. Played poorly, we still get the win, and that's what it is all about. If you want to win leagues, you have to churn out wins like that.
With 10 men as well. We need to just emphasise twice we've scored a last minute goal with 10 men. It's remarkable. Finally, and well, not finally, because I'll get your two thoughts or if you've got anything else to add, but big crowds. Is that for us?
There we go.
Must be us.
We'll
be over in a minute.
Huge. Everybody's going mental behind us and everyone.
Tell them we'll be over in a minute.
I think you've seen Daniel Radcliffe. That's the...
It might be Ben Doak, because Ben Doak is a superstar. I thought he was really good when he came on. What did you think, Euan?
It's so great seeing him, and there's been so much chat about him in the B team and about him in the youth teams and about the potential that he has, and it's just great seeing another B team guy making their debut this season.
He looked good as well.
He looked really good. The confidence that these guys have coming up. I mean, we've seen Owen Moffat. We've seen. I mean, even Dane Murray got a tough hand dealt with at the start of the season. Joey Dawson. All these players come with a real confidence. They don't seem fear on the ball at all. They're fine taking players on. That was a high pressure situation that Ben Doak came into today. He seemed like an actual fit. I'm really excited to see what more he can do. Linked with Liverpool is what I've heard. So hopefully that's raised his price a few million, if that's to be believed.
You have million. God, you'll get a job at Rangers with those finances. Final thoughts, Stevie, from your endless notes.
All I just want to say, everyone is, and Hamish and Euan. I
Harry.
had
every job I've had with this.
So my entire notes were spent just being critical and being moaning about everything that went wrong, and it all changed in a blink of an eye after, in the last couple of minutes, and that's why I had to readjust everything. And Celtic caught me off guard. They've caught me underprepared. and as a result,
Celtic.
I'm a rambling mess. But I'm not going to criticise them for it. I'm glad that they did it. I'll get shown up as long as Celtic don't.
Brilliant. Euan, final thoughts?
I love this football club. I just had a lot of fun today. That's all I can really say about it. Analysis is kind of out the window now. That was a lot of fun.
Hopefully we've made some sort of sense in this video. It's incredibly difficult. As I say, we are recording this now about half an hour after full time. The emotions are still flowing, so let us know what you think of this video, what you thought of the game today. We've got far more content coming on the channel. Really interesting interview coming tomorrow that I did yesterday. Who is it with? You can find out tomorrow. Remember to subscribe to the channel. We'll speak to you soon.